Why would someone pay 10 times more for the same cup of coffee just because it's served at Starbucks? Why can a simple logo be worth millions? Why is Disney able to charge double the ticket price compared to a neighboring amusement park and still draw a crowd? The truth is, price does not reflect cost, it reflects perceived value. In a world where people still measure themselves by billable hours or production costs, you, as a creator, consultant, or service provider, are unknowingly trapping yourself in an outdated paradigm. It's time to break free from that golden standard. If you believe that the effort behind a product defines its value, you're a century behind. But are you ready to completely rewire your pricing mindset? Brace yourself, because what's coming will shatter your old beliefs about price, value, and yourself. Part 1. Value is not in the product, but in the mind of the buyer. You are not selling a product. You are selling perception, expectation, and transformation in the customer's mind. When someone pays, they're not buying a logo, an article, or a piece of software. They're buying peace of mind, status elevation, and a sense of affirmation. If this sounds abstract, ask yourself, why do people spend thousands on fashion brands and wear them only a few times a year? Because they're not buying clothes, they're buying an image of who they aspire to be. A common question: if I deliver quality, won't the value speak for itself? The answer is no. The market doesn't reward fairness or effort. It rewards perception. Value is the story you successfully tell in the buyer's mind, not the sweat you pour into the work. If you believe customers should naturally recognize your value, you're putting your future in someone else's hands instead of leading them to see it for themselves. If two identical products are presented, one in premium packaging with refined messaging, the other just sitting on a shelf, which one do you think sells more? Many service providers, especially in creative industries, neglect the presentation of value. They deliver well but sell poorly, then complain that the market is unfair. The problem isn't the market. The problem is your lack of control over how your value is perceived. Some might object, but I don't want to exaggerate or sugarcoat. I just want to be honest about the real value. That may sound noble, but it's a fallacy. Failing to communicate value doesn't make you more honest. It makes you misunderstood. Remember, value isn't inside the product. It's in how others perceive it. You can't change the world if the world doesn't understand what you bring. Communicating value clearly is an act of responsibility. Part 2. Dismantling cost-based pricing mindsets. Price equals cost plus profit sounds logical, but it's a trap. In reality, customers don't care how much it costs you to create the product. They only care what they get out of it. You could spend 100 hours designing a logo. If it doesn't solve a strategic problem, it's worthless. Conversely, if you create it in 10 minutes but deliver real transformation, the client will gladly pay more. Value lies in outcomes, not time spent. Many still argue, I have degrees, I've studied hard, I've invested in tools, I deserve to be paid well. That's an emotional viewpoint. The market doesn't pay based on what you deserve, it pays based on what it finds valuable. Just because you've studied more or invested more doesn't give you the right to charge more. The real question is, do clients perceive the value I offer as exceeding what I charge? If not, your efforts go unnoticed. Imagine a product crafted by hand over 50 hours next to an identical product 3D printed in 10 minutes. If both deliver a similar experience, would you willingly pay 5 times more just because one took longer to make? Very few would. The market doesn't reward effort, it rewards outcomes and perception. The time and identity you pour into your work are not enough to demand higher prices. But I worked really hard. Shouldn't that be acknowledged? That's a recurring thought for creatives. Yet, hard work doesn't guarantee value. A great doctor doesn't brag about pulling an all-nighter. They present the results. Clients are the same. They don't buy your effort. They buy the change you create. If you're still pricing based on struggle, you're undermining your own ability to strategically position yourself in the market. Some claim, at least if I price based on cost, I won't lose money. Wrong. Cost-based pricing is a double-edged sword. When markets shift, technology evolves, or customer needs change, your cost model won't adapt fast enough. You'll resort to discounts, losses, and pressure. Instead of controlling value, you're reacting to tides. The one who controls the game is the one who controls the value, not the one who calculates costs well. Here's a hard truth. The cost-profit model is a leftover from industrial age thinking, where everything was standardized, leaving no space for creativity or emotion. But in the experience economy, customers don't just buy products. They buy emotions, expectations, and transformation. If you're still pricing like a factory, you're using an outdated formula for a new equation. And that's a recipe for failure. Wake up before the market does it for you. Part 3. The shift toward value-based pricing. Value-based pricing is about answering the question, how much is this result worth to the client? Not, how long did it take me to do this? This mindset shift requires changing your perspective from inward, your effort, to outward, the client's world. It sounds simple, but it's difficult to implement. Many professionals still define their worth by effort and cost. Changing how you price isn't just about methodology. It's about redefining your professional identity. But if I ask the client what something is worth, they won't know how to answer. That's an excuse. It's true, clients often can't articulate what they need, but it's your professional responsibility to guide them. As the leader in the value conversation, you must uncover goals, assess risks, and measure the impact you can create. This isn't manipulation, it's insight. Real experts don't wait for the client to lead, they create the vision. Let's be honest, many avoid value-based pricing because they fear rejection. They avoid strategic conversations because they're afraid to hear, that's too expensive. But dodging the conversation doesn't increase value, it just keeps you stuck in the old cycle of working hard for low margins. Real clients, the ones seeking transformation, aren't afraid of high prices. They just need clarity. The problem isn't price, it's unclear impact. Make it clear or prepare to lose. Don't confuse pricing based on deliverables with pricing based on results. Deliverables are what you produce. Results are the change you bring. Those are two completely different things. A logo is a deliverable. A transformed brand perception is a result. If you price only for deliverables, you're selling objects. If you price for results, you're selling transformation. And transformation will always carry more value than a tangible output. Part 4. Customer experience and the power to command high prices. Not all big companies have better products, but they craft better experiences. And that's why they can charge more. Customers don't remember technical specs, they remember how they felt. A phone isn't just a device, it's a symbol. A coffee shop doesn't just serve drinks, it offers a space to connect and unwind. If you want to charge higher prices, don't just upgrade the product. Upgrade the entire journey your customers go through. Some people say customers only care about low prices. Is that true? Maybe for certain segments, but not all. Reality proves customers are willing to pay more for certainty, comfort, and pride. If everything revolved around being cheap, premium brands would have vanished long ago. The real question isn't, how can I be cheaper, but how can I be more worth it? Customers always have good reasons to pay more, if you give them one. Creating a memorable experience doesn't require being flashy. Sometimes, clear communication, fast responses, and keeping your word already put you ahead of 90% of the market. Experience is the harmony of commitment and emotion. Customers don't need magic. They need to feel respected and understood. If you think great service has nothing to do with price, ask yourself, why do people return to the same cafe even if it's not cheap? They return because the experience makes them feel safe. Part 5. The Gardener Story. A strategy to reach real value. Imagine you're hiring someone to care for your garden. One charges by the hour. Another offers a fixed package. The third asks, what role do you want this garden to play in your life? That one question changes everything. The third person isn't selling labor or deliverables. They're selling a vision of your ideal lifestyle. And because of that, they can command a higher price. What happens when you stop selling effort and start selling the future your clients deeply desire? Some might say, clients only want things cheap and fast. They don't care about visions. But is that really true? If so, why do some people gladly pay triple just to avoid hassle and feel cared for? The problem isn't that clients don't care, it's that you haven't given them a reason to. Never underestimate your buyer's imagination. If they can't picture a higher value future, that's not their fault. It means you haven't told the right story yet. Sadly, most service providers choose silence. They avoid asking questions, going deep, or exploring the client's true desires. Why? Because they fear being seen as pushy or being rejected. But if you don't actively uncover what matters to the client, you can't price it correctly. Choosing silence is choosing the safety of the old comfort zone. Yet the courage to ask deeper questions is the only path to true value. In the gardener example, there are 3 price levels, each tied to a different level of value. The question isn't, do clients have money? But how much are they willing to pay to solve what truly matters to them? If you offer only one option, you force them into a yes-no decision. But if you offer 3, you invite them to choose the level of transformation they want. And that journey of choice makes them feel in control of their decision. Part 6. From transactions to relationships, the subscription model. It's time to stop thinking of customers as one-time buyers. Start seeing them as long-term partners. The subscription model doesn't just change how you earn revenue, it transforms how you build relationships. When customers pay monthly, they're not just buying a product, they're buying commitment, stability, and consistent presence. And you, as the service provider, no longer have to sell each time. You build long-term trust. In a noisy world, stability has become one of the most desirable products. Some might doubt, will clients really pay monthly for something they used to buy once? The answer? Yes, if they feel consistently supported. We've seen this with music, movies, and software. And now it's happening with creative services, consulting, and wellness. The key isn't the product itself. It's the feeling of always being accompanied. When you shift from selling solutions to delivering ongoing transformation, clients won't want to leave. Many believe subscription models only work for digital products. That's partially true, but incomplete. If your service is based on knowledge, strategy, or long-term interaction, then you already own the perfect asset to package into a recurring model. What you need to change isn't the product, but the delivery structure. Don't sell hours, sell access. Don't sell packages, sell peace of mind. Don't charge per task, charge for the relationship. Another common concern. If I charge monthly, what if the client doesn't use the service that month? That's a transactional mindset. In a relationship model, clients aren't buying individual tasks. They're buying the right to receive support anytime they need it. Think of insurance, personal trainers, or family doctors. Some months you don't use them, but the feeling of someone has my back is already a value. When you sell presence, you're no longer tied to a specific deliverable. The subscription model demands a higher level of commitment. You can't just finish a project, like in transactional work. You must actively maintain the relationship, track results, and propose improvements. But that's also what creates long-lasting impact. When clients sense you truly care about their growth, not just closing a deal, they'll stay longer, pay more, and refer you more often. Strong relationships, higher value, long-term profits. It's not optional. It's inevitable. Part 7. Pricing psychology. Signals, trust, and fairness. Price is a language. When you set a high price, you're not just saying I'm professional. You're sending a signal. I believe in the value I create. The strange thing is, people believe those who believe in themselves. If your voice shakes when stating your price, clients will doubt you. If you're calm and clear, they'll believe the price has a reason. Confidence begins from within. A solid price is the foundation of a solid relationship. A low price, on the other hand, is often a silent confession of insecurity. A frequent question, is there such a thing as an unfair price? If both parties agree voluntarily, without coercion, and fully understand what they're getting, then no. Fairness doesn't lie in the number, but in transparency and mutual consent. If you price proactively, offer clear options, and don't surprise clients, then even a high price can be seen as fair. Fairness isn't about being cheap, it's about being clear, justified, and offering choice. Have you ever bought something just because it was expensive? Maybe a pen, a cup of coffee, or a limited edition book? The high price didn't just buy you an item, it bought you a feeling, a sense of elevation, respect, and exclusivity. Of course, if the quality is poor, a high price is a scam. But when it comes with real value and experience, the price itself enhances the emotional reward. Don't fear high pricing, fear lacking the courage to create value worthy of it. Part 8. The value conversation and specialization. In the end, none of this matters if you don't dare to have the conversation. The value conversation is the turning point. It begins when you ask, what do you want to achieve? And if you achieve it, how will it change your work or your life? Many fear asking these questions, afraid they'll seem intrusive. But if you don't ask, you're just guessing. And you can't price high based on guesswork. Asking the right questions is a hallmark of a true expert. Going deep isn't just smart, it's how you declare, I don't sell time, I sell transformation. Specialization doesn't just make you better, it makes you more trusted. A generalist is rarely chosen for any one thing, but someone who does one thing and does it exceptionally is seen as irreplaceable. When you choose a narrow niche, you're not shrinking your market, you're deepening it. The deeper you go, the easier it is to deliver high value because you understand the problem better than anyone else. Clarity is the strongest weapon of value. Conclusion. Value doesn't live on the invoice, it lives in your courage. Will you be a leader or just a high-end laborer? Still think clients will figure out your value on their own? Wrong. They don't have time. They buy what makes them feel stronger, smarter, and more admirable. If you can't price based on outcomes, don't be surprised when you work twice as hard just to live half as well. And if you still believe high prices are dishonest, sorry, that's the mindset of someone who's never created truly great value. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.